All right. Hey. It is Tuesday, and this is the third time I'm doing my Tuesday YouTube video live. So hopefully, some of you have subscribed and have that notification on so you can join me. All right. Today, I'm going to talk about really the topic of the moment, the topic of the year, the topic maybe of the decade to come. No, it's not Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin. It's artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence. Yeah, artificial intelligence. All right. So before I get going on it, and last week I did this live, and people said, "Hey, Paul, everything, all the stuff that you put up was showing up in reverse." So I'm using a platform called Be Live. So I contacted them and I said, "Hey, everyone that saw the live video says everything's in reverse," and they said, "Okay." And I said, "Okay, I've gone to actually check the mirrored image. So hey, I mean, this stuff's important, so I'm not going to skip it. Maybe it's in reverse, but I unmirrored it so that hopefully it's actually showing up the correct way this time. If not, I'm going to have to go back the next time and go back and click on that mirror image." But hey, I want to do my legal disclaimer and disclosure, which is that this video is not financial advice, not investment advice. Past performance does not equal future results. Errors, mistakes, oversights, they happen. Capital loss is a potential and likely outcome. I, the owners, contractors, employees, associates of ATG Digital Media, own, trade, transacting the investments that are mentioned. And if you don't understand any of this, then you shouldn't act on anything that I'm saying, really, at the very least. Next thing is, so we've got this company, ATG Digital Media, which is what we formed after Banyan Hill. We've got some simple plans. We've got silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and purple tier. Very simple. It's a subscription plan, which kind of gives you pretty much everything that we used to do there. Subscription plans start at $9.99 per month. We focus on innovation and growth. Why? Well, I think 3 years, 5, 7, 10, 15, whatever your time frame. I think that's where you think, like, that was so obvious. That's where I should have been. So that's why we focus on innovation and growth. So that means stocks and crypto. You get picks, updates, market strategy, commentary. And if you want to check us out, you can go and read things written by me and our amazing, incredible team at paulnampoli.substack.com. All right. So I made a video, I think it was October last year, that said, artificial intelligence is going to become incredibly hyped. And that was because I was pretty early in seeing that ChatGPT was being, people were beginning to use it, and it was clearly a big jump over everything that had come before. And I was like, this is going to really drive a frenzy into artificial intelligence. And Palantir Technologies stock has gone up, I believe, from that video about, 80%, 100%. I think it was about 9, and now it's about 18. Now, since then, lots of people have jumped on the artificial intelligence bandwagon. I mean, people are saying, oh, the chip stocks are going to go to the moon. Well, they're already at the moon, folks. I mean, they've been going up for, remember, I recommended SG Microelectronics at $6. I mean, I didn't recommend NVIDIA ever, but what was the other one? AMD at, I can't remember, $10, something like that. So, I've never seen things, go to the moon and then go to the next moon. So maybe it'll work out, but I'm not going to play artificial intelligence that way. I'm going to do, the obvious thing, which is that, I'm going to look at what I'm reading, what I'm seeing. And in my mind, and remember, it's my opinion, my judgment, my view of the world, there's really essentially two pure plays in artificial intelligence, two pure plays. One is investable, one is not investable. And there is a third play that we are invested in, I'll give that away. I'll be a spoiler. That's Tesla, but it's not a pure play. They obviously make cars. They make solar roofs. But they are developing. To drive a car is a very robust form of artificial intelligence. But that's not a pure play. There's a lot going on in there. And I've written on Tesla, and if you read my Substack yesterday, you know what I think about Tesla. But let's just stick to artificial intelligence, like reality, right? Let's get away from the hype, from what the market makers, what Wall Street, what the media, what they all want you to think about it, which is like, remember, everyone's got an agenda, right? I mean, if you're being told to buy something, the first thing you need is like, what do they get out of it? So, especially when the prices are very high, etc. But coming back to my point, we've got OpenAI, which is a private company, and then we have one publicly traded company that has been working on artificial intelligence for like a decade. They have thrown in, I don't know, I think it's like 15 or 20 billion dollars into developing models, into developing systems, into developing processes. They have an actual product that has been, something that clients, businesses, governments, organizations have been paying for many years now, right? And I don't know how involved all of you are with the markets, but literally like 2 weeks ago, we had all this drama with OpenAI. OpenAI, for those who know, is this private company. It was technically originally supposed to be a not-for-profit to share artificial intelligence with everybody. And then as a result of, some dealings, they created a for-profit company, and then they made a deal to essentially give all of their technology to Microsoft. And then there was like this incredible drama a couple of weeks ago where OpenAI fired the guy most responsible for essentially bringing their technology to where it is, a guy named Sam Altman. He was then hired at Microsoft for about a day, maybe a day and a half. And then the board or whoever it is that controls OpenAI reversed the decision and brought him back. Yeah, I mean, it was all, kind of exciting and like a big, thing. And if you were on X, previously Twitter, that was like a blow by blow, second by second, minute by minute, what's going on? But you know what? That's all nice. In the end, we can't invest in OpenAI. And I know there's people like, well, but Paul, you can buy Microsoft and they're going to benefit. Listen, folks, I've been in markets for, amazingly like 30 years. I have never seen like that kind of partnership pay off for the company that just has the partnership. You got to own the company that actually owns the technology. You got to own the company that actually owns the technology. So, you can go buy Microsoft at 3 trillion in market capitalization and see how it works out. But to me, that's like, being on the moon and thinking you're going to go to the next moon. And maybe, hey, anything's possible. Remember, it's my opinion, my judgment, my view of the world, and everyone can have theirs. No need to troll me. Everyone can have their viewpoint. But for me, one of the most important things that came out through the whole thing with OpenAI, Sam Altman, Microsoft, this, that, and the other, was the value of OpenAI. And I was like, that's interesting. Because, I actually hadn't like focused a lot on like, well, what is the, because OpenAI does have investors. It's in the private market and there is an actual business value. Now, remember, most people don't know, like, does OpenAI make money? How much revenue do they have? What is their client base? How reliable is it? What are their costs? Yeah, I mean, but I thought it was definitely worth paying attention when that whole thing came out and they said OpenAI is worth $85 billion. And I was like, $85 billion. Now, I mean, they have some clients for sure, but ChatGPT, I mean, they just started selling subscriptions to, I think it's called ChatGPT Plus. And there are people that are, paying for it, etc. But this is very early days. Palantir, in contrast, has been in business selling artificial intelligence solutions to organizations, governments, businesses, etc., for many years now. They have audited financials. You can go and look at it anywhere. So it's interesting then, like, it's like, hey, like as a normal person, I would be like, okay, so you got this very young company, OpenAI, private, with a young product that has just been released last year. A lot of hype for sure. They have this partnership with a very large company called Microsoft, where they're essentially required to give all of their technology to them and effectively can't really give it to anybody else. At least that's my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's my understanding. Essentially, they're locked into that. And then you've got Palantir that can sell it to anybody. So the way I'm thinking is like, well, hey, which has got more potential today? Is it OpenAI? Is it Palantir? And in my mind, okay, maybe you might say, well, Paul, OpenAI is more exciting. ChatGPT can use it. Yeah, but that's a consumer-oriented. ChatGPT is consumer-oriented. And Microsoft has to embed this into, they're only going to embed it into something that serves their purpose. So it's going to be limited. I guess they're going to throw it into Microsoft Word and Excel. And, maybe that'll be a gigantic hit. But either way, when I put it up, like, I certainly can't come up with why OpenAI would be worth more than double of Palantir. All right. So if you go and look up Palantir, and I'm going to try this again. So I tried it last time and people said, we couldn't see your screen. So let's see if this works this time around. Let's see. I wonder if you guys all can see the screen. That it says shared screen. So let's just look at this shared screen of Palantir Technologies. Unless you want to do some stuff. So I lecture all of you endlessly. Hey, not the stock price, please, market capitalization, please focus on that, because the stock price, is just one way of understanding. Like, if you want to know the size of a company, you got to look at market capitalization. That's like this thing right here, something referred to as market capitalization. Essentially, that's the value that the stock market is assigning to the company, which is $38.58 billion for Palantir Technologies, right? Which is like, if we just Google for, I'm just going to get off this for a second. I'm not going to do that because then I'm going to get off. But if you Google and check for OpenAI value, yeah, you'll see 85 billion. So, if AI is everything that it's going to be, so people have bid up stocks like NVIDIA, people have bid up stocks like Microsoft. In other words, a lot of that is already priced into all of those stocks. But for the one company that has told you and has made a bet for over a decade on artificial intelligence, that company's stock somehow, not at all-time highs, nowhere near its high. The high on Palantir is what? I think it's about 40. I'm just going back and checking. Yeah, it's about $45. Yeah, we're nowhere near that. We're at 18, $19. And people say, well, it's overvalued. So if I go back and show you that Y chart thing, it'll say it's trading for 18 times sales. I'm like, yeah, that's expensive. But the market does look forward, and that's the way it's justifying, 30 or 40 times earnings for NVIDIA. That's the way it's justifying, 33 times earnings for Microsoft. So Palantir is much younger technology. It is all in on AI. It's the only other pure play. Yeah, I know there are other companies that claim to be an AI, but as a pure play, in terms of the entire company, everything is about AI. Yeah, in my experience, from managing money, you have a pure play, you get a premium valuation. Why? Because there's nobody else like you. And I made this point in my Substack yesterday, which is that this bull market that we're in, this bull market that we're in, I believe it's a bull market, not for the S&P 500. I do not believe that because it's, I've told you many times, it's dominated by 7 or 10 companies, something like that. This bull market that we're in is about scarcity. And you might think, well, scarcity was in it. Every bull market's about scarcity. That's not true. If you've got zero interest rates, and cash is aplenty everywhere, pretty much everything else is kind of scarce. But with interest rates at 5.5%, scarcity takes on a different connotation, color, texture, structure. And I went into this in my Substack, which is that you got to have something that really, really makes you different. And if you look at Palantir, what makes them different is that they present artificial intelligence as an operating system for your company, for your organization, for whatever it is that you are trying to do. In other words, it's not like some little side project that you can just lop on to something. It becomes something that's integral to the way that you operate. You cannot do without it. It's not something that you turn on and off. It is always out there. It's part of the machinery. It's integral to the machinery. And if that is right, there's really no other company. I mean, OpenAI may eventually develop something similar, and in all likelihood they will. But at this point in time, there is nobody else that really has artificial intelligence as an operating system. And what that does is it makes Palantir unique, different, scarce. Why? Because once you integrate Palantir into your company, your business, your project, your organization, you can't undo it. You can't undo it. I mean, because it has embedded itself into you, which means that once you're a client, you're in all likelihood, there are going to be exceptions for sure. You're going to be a client for a long time because your data is embedded in there. Your secrets are embedded in there. Your ways of doing business are there. Your client lists are there. And it's all integrated. And you want to keep using it because, of course, artificial intelligence gets better over time. The more information, the more data, the more decisions that it has a chance to make, the better decisions it can help you make. So what's the bottom line here? Well, despite a year of the markets really hyping AI, it hasn't yet really hyped the one stock that is actually about AI, that has built their entire business about AI, that makes it a point to really go out and say, this is all we got. And if you're going to choose us, you got to choose us alone. You can't choose Palantir and 32 other people.